think it was 2 weeks ago, we had a really interesting thing happen to us that we won a digital media learning competition that was called Badges for Lifelong Learning. And it was a great surprise to us that our project won the award. And so what we thought we would present tonight was the actual pitch that we took to San Francisco, and we pitched to a panel of judges to sell our project. And so in a way, we're kind of share the experience of what it was like for us to stand in front of a panel of judges, pitch a project. We had 10 minutes, and we'll take a little bit longer tonight to give you a little more detail, and see what we kind of went through to actually be one of the winners in this competition. So that's what we'd like to share with you. And it wasn't called We Want These Stinking Badges. We renamed it a little bit tonight. But we are working with NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, to do environmental literacy education and personalized learning in 3D GameLab. So we're going to head into that. And once they res, you can see these pictures on your screen. There's some pictures of major catastrophic environmental events, things like tsunamis, flooding. We're getting melting permafrost, which is resulting in this drunken tree phenomenon or drunken forest phenomenon. It's pretty interesting. And things like bleached coral, which is basically dead coral at the bottom of the sea. And it's pretty important because coral feeds over 25% of the fish in the ocean, which I didn't know till I started working with NOAA. So we have these major environmental events happening on our planet. And we're trying to encourage high school students to enter into environmental science careers and create these learning pathways that engage students early and that pull them into these professions to create solutions for the future of our planet. And so the project that we proposed was taking NOAA's curriculum. If you go to NOAA's website, it's NOAA.org. They have these amazing educational resources, videos, lesson plans, all types of really interesting curriculum for teachers. And taking that curriculum and bringing it inside 3D GameLab, which is a game-based learning platform that Chris and I have been working on for the last couple of years. And it uses game mechanics like XP and rewards and badges and achievements to basically level up kids through the curriculum. And Chris, I don't know if you want to add anything else just about 3D GameLab at this point.
We'll talk about it just in a little bit, and I'm sure I can cover those pieces then. But it's a really interesting and novel approach, and it really looks at things from a different direction rather than the same outcome for all participants. A different outcome that still meets the standards. So I'll tease that now, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay, so let's see what we got on the next slide. Whoops. So in this project, we were trying to address some really big challenges, and I heard Peggy and Lucas talking about some of these challenges. First of all, just really large U.S. and global challenges, things related to developing a sustainable economy, green jobs, rethinking careers, for now and for the future, 21st century workplace skills, which we hear about all the time, and how do kids and college students get those skills? Where do they get them? In education, we're dealing with some really basic issues like learner engagement and boredom. I don't like being bored. I don't like students being bored. And we know it's the #1 cause of dropout in high schools, and we got a 30% dropout rate around the country. So it's a big problem we're trying to address. Learner personalization of the curriculum. Everybody doesn't want to learn the same thing at the same time and doesn't really need to. And then how do we aggregate and bring those learning opportunities that are available all over the place in real life and on the web in a common platform so we can kind of work together and work through things. So these are some of the challenges we were taking on. And then NOAA, what they're bringing to the project in terms of their learning content, NOAA specializes in their science areas are things like climate, oceans, marine life, coasts, and atmosphere. And so it's working with science content in those areas and then trying to create these curriculum and career pathways that might lead students to careers like coral scientist, ecologist, robotics engineer, weather pilot, and deep sea explorer. And so this was kind of the basic concept that we went in and that we pitched. the guiding principles that we're working from the new science framework that's coming out later this year. And if you zoom really tightly, these are slides from a Prezi, so sorry if this was meant to function in a little bit different way. Just kind of pulling from some of these core guiding principles and things like focusing on core ideas and sustaining learning over long periods of time with deep practice and knowledge building, promoting equity for all kids, and helping kids work as investigators in their learning. So these are some of the guiding principles. And then we also pulled some of the principles from the assessment, the scientific and engineering practices. And so these are the 8 scientific and engineering practices that are in the standards, and we're going to be using these as our assessment in the curricular experience. Okay, and I think, the slide's rezzing, but I think, Chris, this is where we're going to turn it over to you.
So we decided we were going to build a system that did things a little differently. And the approach is called quest-based learning, and you're very familiar with it if you played any video games. The basic idea is that learning activities are built into individual quests. And rather than those being assignments, you're given the opportunity to make a choice. And I like to ask this question a lot because I think it opens up the paradigm changer of student choice. So my question to you is, you have 2 choices, and you can type this in chat. Would you rather jump off a 10-meter platform 40 feet in the air into the water, not into hot lava or anything like that, or would you rather swim 100 meters in a pool? Those are your choices. Which would you choose? We've got some jumpers. We've got some swimmers. You do not get a parachute. Really interesting. We're split there. Now, of those that would like to jump, do you have a reason for why you want to jump? You're not getting a parachute, people, so stop asking. But look at these answers as they go by. Adrenaline, fun, lazy, good diver. They all kind of speak to a unique intelligence, or in some cases, experience that makes that person ready to do that task at that time. Now, since we've all decided that it's fun and that we're all lazy, then we should all jump, right? What about our